Who's next?
Hey, Craig, I put in a question in the chat. I'm just new to the program last few weeks, and I was just curious what your best tips for when life really throws you curveballs. I joined and my wife got very sick, kids got sick, things like that. I'm still recovering myself. Then we're at sporting events, weather delays, stuff like that. And I'm just curious, I'm here to build in my effortless discipline, right?
Yeah.
What are some tips for just getting back when the curveballs come?
Yeah, absolutely. And so it's funny. I've been sick twice in the last 60 days. So I got sick on Mother's Day. I got sick on Father's Day. I don't know. So I guess they got to stop doing these holidays. But I got food poisoning down here in Mexico, which was rotten. And then that was basically a 2-week experience. And I was down for the count for a couple of days. And then I got I don't know if I got COVID because I never left the house and got tested, but I had a really bad sore throat and I was down for the count again for a couple of days. And that was another 2-week experience. Now, the reason why I explain that to you is because the way that I operate through that is to simply, because I'm a little bit further in advanced in knowing my foundational principles. I know exactly, as we teach in the program, when my magic time is, the time of day that I'm most creative and productive and energetic. I know my optimal evening routine. I know how my days are planned. Like I've got my days planned till the end of October. Like I know, but mostly because they all look the same. Like Monday always looks the same. And it's, creative time in the morning and then a block of calls in the afternoon. Tuesday is all day meetings. Then Wednesday is creative time in the morning and a block of calls in the afternoon. Thursday is creative time in the morning, block of calls in the afternoon. And Friday is one call and then that's it. And so I just have to plug in specifics. I don't know who I'm talking to between 2 and 4 p.m., but I know I'm talking to somebody between 2 and 4 p.m. And then, between me and Linda, my assistant, we just plug in names, but that's all I need to know. And I don't know exactly what I'll be writing that day, what the topic will be, but I know what I'll be writing for, and I know that I'll be writing in the morning in the creative times. So I know I have these foundations that are just so straightforward and so simple. Here's the time of day that I absolutely, if I can only work for an hour in a day, then great. I know that I have to communicate with my family, that I have to have this 1 hour. I'm just asking for 1 hour because I know that in this 1 hour, I can get 4 hours worth of work done. And then, in 5-minute spurts here, there, and throughout the rest of the day, I can kind of chop away at the rest. And so that's easy then, and simple, not easy for me to, when I go through those periods of difficulty and when, baby's sick and my wife's sick, like before I got sick on Father's Day, it was because I took my wife to the emergency room at 2:30 in the morning. And then 2 days later, I took my baby to the emergency room at 1 o'clock in the morning. And then the next night she screamed all night, so I didn't sleep. And then the next day I came down and was really, really sick. And so, but even for those days before that, I was exhausted, but I was getting that, a small amount of work at the right amount of time, which actually was a lot of work because it was done at the right amount of time. So back to Stephen Thomas, what does he do? Well, first of all, Stephen, you need to know your magic time. And so that self-reflection, introspection is, if you only had an hour to work every single day, then when would that time be absolutely blocked off and guarded? That's the thing you need to know. That's the thing we all need to know. And then we need to figure out how the heck can we make this come into existence 6 days per week? And if we can't make it work 6 days per week, can we at least do 4 days per week? And if we can't do 4 days per week, can we at least do 2 days per week? And we just try and do as much as we possibly can with that knowledge. And, so if you go back 20 plus years when I was a personal trainer, that was when I learned about that magic time in the morning for me. Now, it's not necessarily going to be in the morning for you. It might be 2 o'clock in the afternoon, it might be 7 o'clock at night. Everybody's got their own time. But I realized that when I was a personal trainer and I had clients at 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11 in the morning. But I was like, if I could just have this morning, I could get so much done. And so I had to chop away at it. The first thing I did was I I didn't get rid of all my clients on Thursday afternoon, but some of them moved out of town. Some of them switched to another time. And so I had the first thing I did when I was a personal trainer and transitioning from a full-time job to online business and basically entrepreneur all on my own was I got rid of Thursday afternoon. And I realized that on Thursday afternoon in 4 hours, I could get way more done than trying to work 4 days for 1 hour. So that's another thing that you can look at doing. If you can't get an hour a day, can you get 4 hours one day? Because 4 hours in one day, even if it's not at the perfect time, is going to be more productive than 1 hour, 4 days, because of there's way less transition time and not death by 1,000 cuts. So you want to look to those blocks and those batches is another thing. Then the next thing I did was I got rid of people on Tuesday afternoon, or all the training sessions I had on Tuesday afternoon. So now I'm training all day Monday. I'm training Tuesday morning, but not Tuesday afternoon. I'm training all day Wednesday, Thursday morning only, but not Thursday afternoon, all day Friday, maybe all day Friday. I trained pretty late Friday, and then Saturday morning. So that's the first thing I did was I got rid of Thursday afternoon, then Tuesday afternoon. And then I got rid of Thursday morning clients. And then it was Wednesday afternoon. And the next thing, I just picked apart my schedule. It took me 6 months, but I finally got to the point where I was done with all training clients. And the reason I tell you this is because, again, we want to look to batch and block our time. So in our daily schedule, what we want to do is make sure that we are not jumping from activity to activity. Because with all the stuff going on in your life, kids are sick, they got sports, this, that, and the other thing, that if you've got 3 hours in a row where you can devote it to work, there should not be 1 hour devoted to 3 different tasks. But if you have something major, that major thing should get all 3 hours, because you're much better off giving that major thing all 3 hours on one day than trying to do an hour 3 days per week on the major thing. Because again, you're going to get into that zone, into the focus, and you're not going to go, oh, well, now I got to go jump to this other call. Like today, I was doing something. I was like, man, I got to go upstairs. Cause I usually work in this office downstairs in our house where the lighting is horrible. And actually two of the 4 lights in the room are actually out. So it's almost dark in the room. And it's got a little bathroom. My dog sleeps in the shower. And if she hears a noise outside, she'll start barking. So I can't I can't do these calls down there. So 30 minutes before the call, I'm like, oh man, I got to go upstairs and get the nice office set up for the call. And, I was in the middle of something, and, this is right in the middle of my day. So I'm going to go back down and start doing that thing again. But, the transition kind of killed my momentum and flow. So bottom line here is that through the self-reflection and introspection of the program is that you will build foundational habits that that if you can only get a certain number of things in a week, you can still be super productive. And those things are respecting your magic time, and then respecting blocks of time and taking advantage of blocks of time where you're not task switching. And then the other thing that I'll say is the planning and preparation that we focus on so much the day before tomorrow's work is essential. It's really, really crucial, because if you plan and prepare really well, and it doesn't take very long to plan and prepare, so you go back to like Benedict, who was asking about, writing of the book, and he was asking about questions. And so what we teach in the book writing process is you figure out the chapter title and the topic, and then you ask yourself 5 questions. And if you do that, it's a lot easier to write each chapter than if you go and you just have this blank page looking at you and you're like, I don't know, I got to write 1,500 words on something. But no, instead we ask ourselves 5 questions. Now we only have to write 300 words on each question. And that planning and preparation has made it almost exponentially simpler and easier and quicker to write the book. So you can hear the dog barking. My wife just came home with her family who's visiting. So dog's barks every time anybody comes near the house. So anyways, maybe you can't because I'm so far away from her. But the bottom line here is that those 3 things, the magic time, the blocks of time, and the planning and preparation, man, if you can still nail those, you can get so much done, even with all the chaos in your world. And some days I'm like, man, I really didn't work today, but the output was great because I followed all those things. And so you're going to learn a lot through the program, and it's all